So I'm taking the excavator out on a small job soon, but there's a few issues that I have to address. I bent this thumb, got it straight again, and welded this piece in between. But the issue is that when you retract the thumb a little bit fast, it bounces into the cylinder quite hard. And the other issue is this tilting bucket. This whole thing is really floppy, so I want to weld this pin. Just weld it. Yeah, there's some grease on that. I made this new greasing nipple on it. Lite ström. Okay. This seems to be okay now. There was one time when I came in really fast and you could hear this old original piece kind of touching the cylinder a little bit. There's always some adjustments that could have been done better, but it's kind of hard to see. I think I would have put this like maybe 2 centimeters further in and a little bit towards the middle, so that it would match a little bit better with the bucket. So if you have a machine like this, you might need to reinforce it. There was some guy in the comment that said that you have to reinforce it, but I'm like, this is very thick, it's not gonna bend. But it did. That's actually a new problem now. This new piece is hitting the tooth. just did 2 jobs with the excavator. One was really big, and I bent the loading bucket a little bit, so I'll have to look into that. And I also have to modify the thumb. Yeah, this thing is like really clean for an excavator now, and it's really warm today, so I'm just gonna push the maintenance until the weather is worse. I discovered some issues with the thumb, and I also bent the new loading bucket a little bit, so I'll try to fix that. And also this new piece here is kind of wanting to hit the boom when I retract the arm. Okay, that's good now. A little bit of paint on it, and it should be fine. It's close to 1 centimeter, so I'm gonna try to just use the sledgehammer and band it that way. Yeah, that's not fixing anything. I mean, it's not much, but it's a little bit annoying. You want this thing to be almost perfectly straight at least. Maybe I can use the machine and try to push it towards one of these stones. That didn't work either. I don't think it came like this from factory, because it looks like it's a little bit bent down in here too. I want to try to... Can't do that either. These ones might be too weak. Well, it's it looks like it's straight now, but I have to bend it a little bit upwards so it will come down straight again. So this must be soft steel, but it's really thick. So I'm kind of surprised that it bent, but there's some big forces in hydraulics. Yeah, I just noticed that this was a little bit off. You can see it's coming up here a little bit and then going downwards here. Hey? whatever it. It's a little bit better. I had some issues starting the machine on the last job. It was like the starter wouldn't kick in, so I think it's low on battery. But there was no indication on the display, but this machine has 150 hours on it now. And there's been some minor stuff. If you follow my channel, you see small things that I do in my videos, like some tweaking, but nothing major. I had that travel motor issue. I had to kind of clean the solenoid. Okay, I think I'll just leave this like that. Something is dripping down here. I hope it's water condensation or something. Hope it's not hydraulic oil. Yeah, this is oil. It looks really thick. I guess it's hydraulic oil. Where is it coming from? Doesn't look like it's coming from the solenoids that I loosened. At least not these connections. I saw this came out of the excavator when I was trying to bend the bucket. I thought that was only water. Okay, got the charger on, got the panel off. Yeah, there's a lot of oil down there. And you kind of have these hoses rubbing towards each other. Okay, I'm gonna look for this a little bit off camera and see if I can find the leak. Looks like it's coming down from the side of the tank here. And that's the diesel tank, and this is the hydraulic tank. It's a little high, so maybe it's coming out of the overflow or something. But look at this, it's kind of rubbing towards the fuel tank here. Maybe I'll stick something in between there. Yeah, not too happy about this. I'm working a little bit too much on this for being a new machine, honestly. Right, I think I found the leak. Yeah, that blank solenoid thing there. It's just jammed in there and the hoses is kind of bent. That solenoid right there. I gotta take a look at the connections there. Yeah, so that hose down there is bent and is leaking and just jammed in there. So at least I have to take this plate off. It might be leaking from the clamp itself, so the hose might need replacing. No leaks from the valve housing that I can see. And I think what was on the hydraulic tank is just from filling hydraulic oil, or perhaps it's on overflow or something. Okay, so I need to get the solenoid thing moved up higher. The connection that you see there is really bent in a really hard angle, and it looks like it's leaking in the connection and also in the press fitting there. But I'm not quite sure that it's leaking in the press fitting. I could just tighten it, but it looks like it's just an accident waiting to happen with that steep angle there. Kind of a mess here. All these electric wires are in the way. Also this cable from the swing motor. I disconnected the solenoid. So there's that cable that was leaking. Just gotta check these electric cables here. Here we go. I think it can stay like this maybe. Right, so I changed the routing on this hose. It went underneath this piece of steel, but now it's coming over like this. And if it's leaking in the press fitting, I can easily see it. If you're buying a new one, I would open up and check the routings of the cables and maybe put some hose protection on and things like that. Right. Okay, it's been running for like 15 minutes. It does look like it's okay. Also put some pads underneath this this panel, and I can see this spring kind of want to dig into this hose a little bit. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do about that. It's kind of thick, this hose, but after another 100 hours it's gonna be like in there. I need to find something. Yeah, this bucket is straight now with these on. But once I take these off, it's just gonna bend back down, I think. So I have bought my own welder now. I used to borrow one and have my brother weld for me. I'm gonna try to weld this myself. I need this to be straight, and I want it to be perfectly straight. Because once you bend it, it's just gonna keep bending and bending until it's broken. So what I've seen is that some of these buckets, they have like a small bracket in the middle here. Look at this. It's just all of the details, you know. Yeah. That's no big deal, but it's just so many small things. I wonder how this machine is gonna be like after 1500, 2000 hours. That's a big crane. Right, put some hose protection on this one and that one. Also been tightening up a little bit down here in these joints. I found this, and this is some kind of fake leather. I'm gonna try to get that inside here. Yeah, I think that's not too bad. Alright, it's a new day. I've been running the machine for about 40 minutes. And it looks to me like there's a tiny leak in this connection. So I'll have to replace that or ask for a new one. I tried to get this panel on last night, but it's just, you can see it's been hitting this panel, so it's like it's barely, yeah, it won't fit. Like every cover on this machine, you know, it's like 1 millimeter off, and you can see they kind of cross-threaded these bolts onto just to get it on right. So it's like all the panels are like, they're like, you take them off and you can't get them back on. So yeah, for example, this panel, if you saw my first video picking this, I think it was the first video picking this machine up, or the second one, and I think it was the second one. They already made like a new hole and it didn't fit, and I made the third one there. Everything else seems good down here. I can't see any other leaks than this one. I know this should be in a better place because it was like really, yeah, it was really pulling and pushing on this connection, and now it's kind of, I can flex a little bit, I can push it down with a better angle. Add a cap for that. And here's that hose. It's what's that, like 80 centimeters or something. and this is the bad crimping. You can see that there's like a huge gap. Right, I'm gonna see if the guys will send me a new one from the factory. If not, I'm gonna take it with me to the hydraulic shop, and I'm probably gonna have to make a new one because it's I can't cut this one, it's not long enough. Try this. You know, if it's too big, then it's just gonna separate the cargo. Alright, it's a new day here. Got this ready for welding last night. And I was just out buying some stuff that I need for the welding. And I've also bought a backing camera, which I'm gonna mount now. This is the plate that didn't fit quite inside there. I'm just gonna grind a little bit off the edge here, put some paint on it, so it's ready to be mounted when the hose arrive. And I got a reply from the Rippa guys, and they said they were gonna send a new hose. I'm gonna take the excavator outside and work on the camera. So that's on, and this is a wireless solar camera. Here's the screen. Yeah, and that's a classic 12 volts outage. I think I actually have a transition for that. Found that. Like so. If the battery is dead or there's no sun, you can use this USB to charge up this camera. This is a fastening bracket for number signs for cars. I just cut that thing right off, because maybe I can use this part of the bracket and hang it on like this. But it's not pointing. Should be pointing a little bit more downwards. Maybe if I loosen these screws, I can adjust the camera. I could mount it like this, and by the way, these screws are adjustment screws, so the camera is pointing a little bit downwards now. But if I place it here, I have to make 2 holes. That's fine, I have screws that can do that, but it might be in the way when you're working inside here, and it's already super tight. And if I hang it here, I can just take it off and turn it on, turn it off, take it in, charge it. I don't think it's gonna rattle or anything when it's like that. And the screen is just like this suction thing, so it can be placed anywhere. 150 hours on it now. I'm gonna clean the air filter and grease the slewing ring. You can't really access the greasing point with a normal grease gun, so I just kind of made a little tip there. That's the Chinese style grease zerk, the pointy needle thing, and that's a normal grease zerk on the other side. Yeah, there we go. You have to go really straight into the fitting to make it grease. And then I just flip the machine like 4 times on every 90 degree, and that's it.
Altså meg. Folkens. Ja. Pappa? Mamma, pappa?
Yeah. That's the new welder. I chose the Esab Rogue 151 IP. It's their new model replacing the 150. I've never done this before, except for a few times in school many years ago. So this should be interesting. So that should be stronger now. When I took those clamps off, it kind of sagged back a little bit. So it's like maybe 2 millimeters off, but it was close to 1 centimeter. I guess that's good enough, or as good as I can get it. I might end this video now and continue with the excavator when I get the hose. I got some more stuff coming up. We still have that milled asphalt that we're gonna lay, and yeah, new stuff is always coming. All right.